I was in love with my best friend for years, but he never saw me that way. So I moved on. Until the night he showed up at my engagement party, pulled me aside, and whispered, "Don't do this. It was always supposed to be us." My heart raced as my fiancé walked toward us, smiling. And when he asked, "Everything okay?" I realized, for the first time in my life, I had no idea who to choose. I've known Alex since we were kids growing up in Chicago. Our families lived just a few blocks apart in the Lincoln Park neighborhood, and we attended the same schools from elementary through high school. Our friendship was the kind that felt more like family. We were inseparable. From building forts in Oz Park to sneaking into Cubs games at Wrigley Field, our bond grew stronger with each passing year. As we transitioned into adulthood, our paths remained intertwined. We both attended the University of Chicago, though we pursued different majors. He delved into economics while I immersed myself in literature. Despite our demanding schedules, we always found time for our weekly coffee dates at a quaint cafe in Hyde Park. These moments became our sanctuary, a place where we could escape the pressures of academia and confide in each other. Throughout these years, I harbored feelings for Alex that went beyond friendship. I cherished our late-night conversations, the way he laughed at my jokes, and the comfort of his presence. However, Alex was oblivious to my feelings. He dated other women, and I convinced myself that being his friend was enough. I feared that revealing my emotions might jeopardize the bond we had built over the years. Life moved forward, and after graduation, Alex secured a position at a prestigious financial firm in the Loop, while I began working at a publishing house downtown. Our careers kept us busy, but we maintained our tradition of meeting up, albeit less frequently. It was during one of these meetings that I introduced Alex to Daniel. Daniel and I met at a bookstore in the West Loop. I was searching for a rare edition of a novel, and he, being the store manager, assisted me. Our shared love for literature sparked an instant connection, leading to hours-long discussions about our favorite authors and genres. Daniel was attentive, kind, and had a way of making me feel seen in a way I hadn't experienced before. Our relationship blossomed quickly. Daniel introduced me to new experiences, weekend getaways to Starved Rock State Park, cooking classes in Little Italy, and jazz nights at the Green Mill. He was thoughtful, always remembering the little details, like how I took my coffee or my favorite flowers. For the first time in years, I felt genuinely cherished. After 2 years of dating, Daniel proposed during a weekend trip to Lake Geneva. We were on a boat, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink, when he knelt down and presented a ring. Overwhelmed with emotion, I said yes. The idea of spending my life with someone who loved me so deeply filled me with joy. We began planning our engagement party, deciding on a cozy venue in Lincoln Park that overlooked the lake. The guest list included close friends and family, and naturally, Alex was among them. Our interactions had dwindled as Daniel and I grew more serious, but I still considered Alex one of my closest friends. The night of the party arrived, and the atmosphere was filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and warm wishes. I was mingling with guests when I felt a gentle tap on my shoulder. Turning around, I saw Alex. He looked different, his usual confident demeanor was replaced with an intensity one hadn't seen before. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Surprised, I nodded, and he led me to a quieter corner of the venue. The noise of the party seemed to fade as we stood facing each other. "Don't do this," Alex said, his eyes searching mine. "It was always supposed to be us." My heart raced. I was stunned, speechless. For years, I'd dreamed of hearing those words, but now, on the eve of my new life with Daniel, they felt like a cruel joke. "Alex," I began, struggling to find the right words, "why now? After all this time?" He ran a hand through his hair, frustration evident. "I was an idiot. I didn't realize what I had until I saw you slipping away. Seeing you with Daniel made me see things clearly." Before I could respond, I noticed Daniel approaching us, a warm smile on his face. "Everything okay?" he asked, placing a protective arm around my waist. I looked between the two men, the one I'd loved in silence for years and the one who had openly loved me. The weight of the moment was suffocating. "Yes," I finally said, forcing a smile. "Everything's fine." But inside, I was anything but fine. That night, after the party ended and Daniel was fast asleep beside me, I lay awake, replaying Alex's words over and over. My mind was a whirlwind of emotions: anger, sadness, confusion. The following days were torturous. Alex's confession had reopened wounds I thought had healed. I found myself questioning everything. Did I truly love Daniel, or was he just the safe choice? Was Alex's revelation genuine, or was it merely the result of seeing me happy with someone else? I decided I needed clarity. I met Alex at our favorite spot by the Chicago Riverwalk, a place where we'd spent countless hours talking about everything and nothing. "Alex, I need to understand," I started, looking out at the water. "Why did you wait until now to tell me?" He sighed, his expression pained. "I was scared. Scared of ruining our friendship, scared of rejection. But seeing you with Daniel, realizing I might lose you forever, it woke me up." Tears welled up in my eyes. "Do you know how long I waited for you? How many nights I hoped you'd see me the way I saw you?" "I'm sorry," he whispered, reaching for my hand. "I was blind." We sat in silence, the weight of unspoken words hanging between us. Finally, I spoke. "I need time, Alex. I can't just append everything." He nodded, understanding. "I'll wait. For as long as it takes." Returning home, I found Daniel preparing dinner, a content smile on his face. Guilt gnawed at me. He'd been nothing but wonderful, and here I was, contemplating the possibility of leaving him. Days turned into weeks, and I found myself torn between the comfort and security Daniel offered and the passionate, albeit uncertain, love Alex promised. I confided in my sister, who listened patiently. "Follow your heart," she advised. "But remember, love isn't just about passion. It's also about partnership, trust, and shared values." Her words resonated with me. I realized that while I'd always loved Alex, our relationship had been built on a foundation of friendship, not romantic partnership. With Daniel, I had someone who chose me every day, who envisioned a future with me. I met Alex one last time at the Riverwalk. "I love you, Alex," I admitted, tears streaming down my face. "But I can't be with you. Daniel is my future." Pain flashed across his face, but he nodded. "I understand. I just needed you to know how I felt." We hugged, a bittersweet farewell to the possibility of an us that would never be. Walking away, I felt a sense of closure. I realized that sometimes, the love we think we want isn't the love we need. 3 weeks passed. I thought that was it. I thought the hard part was over. I made a choice. I picked Daniel. I even started looking at wedding dresses again, trying to throw myself into the planning, hoping it would distract me. But then, strange things started happening. The first thing was small. My phone started ringing with blocked numbers. Always silent. Always nothing on the other end. At first, I brushed it off as spam. But it kept happening, 3, sometimes 4 times a day. Then one night, Daniel came home later than usual. He looked pale, like he'd seen something that shook him. I asked if everything was okay. He said work was stressful. I believed him, sort of. But the next day, I got a text from an unknown number. Just one line: "You think you made the right choice?" I felt sick. I didn't know who it was from, but I had a sinking feeling in my gut. My first thought was Alex. But that didn't make sense. He said he'd let go. He said he understood. Still, I needed to be sure. I messaged him. Did you send me this?" I sent a screenshot. He replied almost immediately. "Alex, no." "What is that? Are you okay?" I didn't reply. Not because I didn't trust him. But because a bigger question had started forming in my head. What if it wasn't about me? What if something else was going on entirely? That night, Daniel sat across from me at dinner, quiet, poking at his food. He looked tired. Distant. Is everything okay? I asked. He looked up at me. I got a message too. What kind? He swallowed hard. It was a picture. A picture? He reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, and handed it to me. My hand shook as I opened the image. It was a photo of me and Alex. From our talk at the Riverwalk. We were close, too close. His hand was brushing mine. It looked intimate. My mouth went dry. Where did you get this? Anonymous email, Daniel said, his voice low. No message. Just that. Do you think I don't know what to think. The silence that followed was the worst we'd ever had. The next few days were tense. Daniel stopped talking as much. He started locking his phone. I caught him staring at me when he thought I wasn't looking. Like he was trying to figure out who I was. And I was doing the same. Because suddenly, things about Daniel didn't add up. Like how he got that promotion at work. Like why he never introduced me to his family, even though we were engaged. Like why he changed the topic every time I asked about his college years. So I did something I hadn't done before. I went through his drawer. I didn't want to. I hated myself while doing it. But I needed to know. I needed something that would explain why everything felt off. And I found it. Buried under a stack of old bills and receipts was a photo. A woman. Blonde. Smiling. Holding hands with Daniel. It was recent. He was wearing the same jacket he wore last week. I felt like the floor dropped beneath me. I took the photo and waited. Sat on the couch with it in my lap until he came home. When he walked in and saw my face, he stopped in his tracks. Who is she? I asked, holding up the picture. He didn't answer right away. Just stared. Then his shoulders slumped. I was going to tell you, he said. You were? It's not what you think. I stood up, shaking. Really? Because it looks like you've got another life. He didn't deny it. Not really. He just said, it's complicated. And I realized then, I didn't know this man at all. The man who'd made me feel safe. Who'd made me feel chosen. He had secrets. Big ones. And as I stood there, heart racing, head spinning, I couldn't help but think of Alex. The man I pushed away because I thought he showed up too late. But what if Daniel was never supposed to be the one? What if Alex was? What the hell was I supposed to do now? So, yeah. That night everything fell apart. Daniel didn't explain much. Just said, it was complicated, and went straight to the bedroom. I followed him, still holding the picture of him and that woman, blonde, pretty, cozy with him like they'd been together for years. I wasn't about to let that slide. Complicated how, Daniel? He sat on the edge of the bed, rubbing his face. He looked tired. Worn down in a way I hadn't noticed before. She's my ex, he finally said. That's not what this looks like. I saw her a few weeks ago. It wasn't planned. She reached out. Said she wanted to talk. And you held her hand to talk? He looked up at me, guilt plain on his face. It happened fast. We met. We talked. She kissed me. I let her. That's all. That's all? She was going through a breakup. She was a mess. I didn't plan to see her again. But she knew about us. About you. She wasn't okay with it. My stomach twisted. What do you mean, not okay? He looked away. I think she's the one who sent that picture. Of you and Alex. I think she's been watching us. A chill ran down my spine. She stalked me? I don't know. But she said something weird. She said she'd make things right. She's not stable, he whispered. I should have told you sooner. We didn't talk much more that night. I went to sleep with my back to him, my mind spinning. Everything I thought was solid felt like it was crumbling. The next morning, I called Alex. I didn't know what I wanted from him. I just needed to hear a familiar voice. Someone who'd known me before all this mess. He picked up on the first ring. Hey, he said, voice soft. Can we talk? Of course. We met at the Garfield Park Conservatory, our secret place from college when we needed a break from everything. The quiet, the green, the feeling of being hidden from the world. It helped. I told him everything. The photo, the ex, the messages. He listened, quiet the whole time until I finished. Then he looked me dead in the eyes. You're in danger. What? She's not just messing with your head. She's escalating. First pictures. Then showing up. What's next? I hadn't thought about it that way. But he was right. I think she's watching you, he said. How would she even know where to find us? Alex looked away. I have a theory. And that's when he dropped the bomb. She used to work with me. What? I dated her. Briefly. After college. We weren't serious, but it got weird fast. She'd show up at my place uninvited. Once, she followed me on a trip to Michigan, just showed up there. I ended it, and I thought that was it. You dated Daniel's ex? I didn't know they were connected. I didn't even know her real last name. She went by something different at work. My heart started pounding. She went after both of you. Alex nodded. She's not just trying to break you two up. She's playing a long game. She wants to ruin you. It was too much. Too twisted. A woman I didn't even know was pulling strings behind the scenes of my entire relationship. And somehow, she had ties to both men in my life. How do I stop her? I whispered. Alex didn't answer right away. Then he said, you need to get out of that house. I packed a small bag and told Daniel I needed space. I didn't mention Alex's involvement yet, there was too much to untangle, and part of me still didn't know if I could trust anyone. I stayed with my sister for a few nights. But the silence in her guest room was just as loud as the questions in my head. Why me? Why now? Then. I got a letter. Not an email. Not a text. An actual envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Typed. I told you. You're making a mistake. He's not who you think he is. No signature. Attached was a second photo. This time, not of me. Not of Alex. Of Daniel. In a bar. Holding hands with another woman. Not the blonde from the first photo. A different woman. And now, everything was a blur. Who the hell was I engaged to? I told Daniel to meet me at a cafe downtown. Neutral territory. Public place. I needed to feel like I had control. He showed up looking nervous, as if he already knew what was coming. I didn't waste time. I got another picture. He blinked. Another? I pulled it from my bag, slapped it on the table. His face drained of color. Who is she? He hesitated. Too long. Who is she, Daniel? He ran a hand over his face. Her name's Raquel. We saw each other a few times. It was before I proposed. I stared at him. You cheated on me before proposing? I didn't plan it like that, stop saying that. You did it. You planned to lie to me for the rest of our lives. People in the cafe had started to glance over, picking up on the rising tension. I didn't care. He leaned in, trying to lower the volume. You were still talking to Alex. You still loved him. That was it. I stood up. So you cheated because you thought I had feelings for someone else? No, you don't get to twist this. I never touched Alex while we were together. You cheated. You lied. Then you put a ring on my finger like nothing happened. His mouth opened. Closed. He looked like he wanted to fight back. But the truth was all over the table now, and it was ugly. I can't do this, I said. I turned and left. I didn't wait for him to follow. I didn't care if people stared. Back at my sister's, I fell apart. I should have seen it, I whispered. I should have known. She sat with me on the couch, holding my hand, saying nothing. Just letting me cry. Later that night, my phone buzzed. Alex. I ignored it. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't trust anyone. But he texted again. I need to show you something. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met outside, in the alley behind my sister's building. He held out his phone. It was a screenshot. A text conversation. From her, the woman who had stalked us. Who had sent the photos. If she doesn't come back to you, I'll make sure she never has anyone. We can't both lose. I stared at the screen, my mouth dry. She was behind it all, Alex said. The second picture. The timing. The paranoia. She wanted to push both of us into breaking everything apart. I looked at him. But Daniel did cheat. Alex nodded. He made his choices. But she made sure we didn't trust anyone. She played both sides. A week passed. I didn't return Daniel's calls. He showed up at my sister's once, but I didn't let him in. I reported the harassment to the police. Gave them the letters, the emails, the screenshots. They launched a case. I don't know what'll happen. Maybe she'll vanish. Maybe she'll come back. But at least she's not in control anymore. Daniel sent one final message. I wish I had done things differently. You didn't deserve this. I never replied. I moved back into my own place. Alone. Alex came by to help carry boxes. We didn't talk about love. We didn't talk about the what if. We just moved things in silence. Safe. Friendly. When he left, he said, if you ever want to talk, I'm here. And I believed him. But I didn't know if I'd ever call. Because right now, I need to be alone. To rebuild. To figure out who I am without the lies, the cheating, the twisted games. I look back on the last few months and wonder how I let it go that far. But love, real or imagined, blinds you. And when someone finally shows you the truth, it burns. I'm not angry anymore. Not like I was. I'm just tired. But I'm also awake. For the first time, I'm not waiting on anyone. Not chasing someone's approval. Not trying to fix what someone else broke. I'm choosing me. And maybe that's what I should have done all along.